All right, so we're gonna play on the best PS4 slash PlayStation 5 server. It's almost vanilla. It's my server. It's the best one, as you can tell. That's why there's 0 out of 20 people playing it. So yeah, I'm trying to advertise the server because I'm confident this is the best official plus server, as it says in the description. The goal of this server is to be just like official, so there's not going to be, stupid bull crap where you can just find fully kitted out M4s in 2 seconds and stuff like that. I've changed the loot system. So basically, instead, I've always thought it's stupid that you can only find Mosins in like tier 3 and 4 or something. So I'm like, why? That isn't even, like, this is supposed to be a realistic survival game, right? Sure, we can argue about gameplay design and stuff like that, but I think the tier system is bad game design. So the reason I switched it is you can find a Mosin on the coast. If it's a civilian gun, you'll find it in civilian places. If it's a military gun, you'll find it in military places. For example, you could find an SKS because that's a civilian weapon. It's not military use anymore. You can find any of the military weapons in any of the military places, except I do want to balance the game just a tad bit because personally, that's where the game design comes in. I don't want people to just find M4s on military and then dominate the entire server. I've changed the map. I've done a map expansion. My goal is to update the entire map, and I'm working on it daily. I want to give things like the bunker or the locked Sakal containers a purpose. So that's why things like the M4, the SVD are locked away behind that kind of stuff. I've made the stronger guns rare. Things like the AK-101 or like the FAMAS or something like that. I've made it to where they do spawn in any military area, but with the preface of that, like I think I made the AK-101 spawn tier 3 and 4, and I just got done saying I don't like the tier system, but the idea is supposed to be world building. These military bases on the coast, they're dealing with like civilians, and like this is in terms of like the outbreak, like those military camps are based just on civilians, so they don't need those like high powered weapons. But then like further inland, when you get to like Tissy and stuff like that, it's like, okay, well these are like real established military bases where any kind of operations could go on. So that's kind of the idea. Is it's supposed to make sense where you find this stuff. The AK-101, I think I only made it to where 2 spawn or something at any given time. Technically, it makes it harder to find it because it's like, okay, well now it could be anywhere in a military zone within the tier 3 and 4. So it's like easier to get the weapons, but it's also not, because just because you find the AK-101 doesn't mean you find a mag. So it's like, okay, you might find the AK-101 in Tissy, but the mag could be all the way in the airfield, or it could be at the checkpoint on the west side of the map, or it could be anywhere. I've done a lot of work on this server. I've went through and I've changed how the guns spawn in. So, on regular official, it's like, okay, you find an AK-101 spawns in, it spawns in with the hand grip, and it spawns in with the stock. Well, on my server, it could spawn in with literally anything. So anything that can be attached to it, with the exception of like bottle suppressors and stuff that doesn't make lore sense, anything could spawn in on that thing. So it's like, let's say you find that AK-101 at Tissy. It could spawn in with the hand grip, like a rail hand guard, because usually they only spawn in with the plastic polymer grips and stuff like that. But maybe it spawns in with a rail attachment, and maybe that rail attachment has a light on it, and maybe it doesn't have a stock on it because maybe before the outbreak some guy was working on the stock or it was broken or something. Or maybe you find one that has all the polymer stuff, but it's the green variant, because I've added all the, I guess they're unreleased technically, the unreleased camo variants. You've probably seen those on other official community servers, but there's like the green polymer pieces, the camo wood parts for the AK and stuff like that. So it could spawn in with those. It could spawn in with a ghillie wrap. It could spawn in with a suppressor. Now I've quote unquote balanced all these things. So like the chance of you finding an AK-101 with a normalized suppressor is like, I think I only said it's like 5%. So 2 guns spawn in, and there's only a 5% chance that it'll spawn in with that attachment. So I don't want people to just get like free loot. You know what I'm saying? I want you to still have to work for the loot. But I just wanted to make it more varied. My goal with this, like with the Lamas and the AK-101 and stuff like that, is that you hardly ever see these guns getting used. Like on a typical official server, at least on console, like you're only going to see people fully decked out with like M4s and stuff, either because they like teleported from Sakal. Like nobody plays Sakal, so you have these. I won't call them fucking losers, but you have these losers that basically just live on Sakal. They have giant bases because no one plays that map. They're never going to get raided. And they just loot all this stuff. They just grind the bunker over and over and over. And then they get all this overpowered loot. And then they just teleport over to Chernarus, And, you know, it's just, it screws up the entire economy. That's something I hate about official. It's stupid. So obviously you can't do that on my server because it's a community server. It's one server. So if somebody got an M4, that means they got that M4 on my server. So I want to, you know, there's all this content in the game that barely gets used. And that kind of leads me into my other point. The fact that clothing items are like locked off by the tiers, I think is so stupid. Just for example, like the blouse. The blouse is like it's only, I think on the official files, it's only marked as like a tier 1 and 2 item or something, which it's like, okay, it's just a blouse. Like, who cares? Nobody's going to wear that. Why are they tiered off and no one's going to wear them? So it's like you might find one on the coast and you might wear it. But then like everybody's just trying to get military gear, right? Because it's camouflage and it's, you know, higher capacity warmth and all that kind of stuff. But my idea behind this is like, okay, I just made the clothes spawn everywhere. Like if it's a blouse, it's going to spawn in all civilian areas because it's a civilian piece of clothing. Just any civilian clothing spawns in any civilian area. Any military clothing spawns in military areas with a few exceptions. You know, like the field backpacks. So that's what I was saying before. Like those established military bases will have the more like hardcore like tactical gear for like special operations and stuff like that. At least that's what I was going for. You'll see people with varied, you know, clothing and stuff like that. So you'll see different people looking different and stuff like that. Again, that went into the idea of me adding custom loadouts. Like from a gameplay perspective, I understand you spawn in with like shorts and a t-shirt, and that's fine. I wanted the whole point of me doing this originally was so I could give those items that don't usually get any, like, I wanted to give them some of the limelight. It's like, okay, so all of the different loadouts I made have like higher chances and lower chances to be chosen when you spawn in. So like the idea is that you'll mostly, like most of the time, get spawned in as like a civilian. So you won't get anything like, I don't want you spawning in with like an M4 and like a plate carrot, you know, like that's not the point. The point is that you're going to spawn in as like a person, like a real person. You'll typically spawn in as like a civilian or like a construction worker or like, you know, a firefighter. You know, there may be loadouts that are quote unquote better than others. Like there's a few that have like I made a thug loadout that has like a Derringer. Like he may spawn in with a Derringer or like a Desert Eagle or something. But it's nothing, like, who cares? It's not that big a deal, you know what I mean? So it's just supposed to be interesting. So we'll go ahead and spawn in here. I set the timer to 0 because I don't want to waste anybody's time like these other servers. Like I've never understood why official has like a 15-second load-in time. I think it's supposed to help with like loading the game before you actually get in, but all right, so we're in Solonici. Okay, so I spawned in as a mechanic this time, and I'm gonna kill myself a couple times if I'm able. So right off the bat, you know, we're the mechanic. You don't customize your character like on the menu and whatever. You just spawn as whatever the loadout is set to. That's what you get. You know, I made these loadouts very detailed, and I even need to go back and like refine them later because I've gotten more like experience, like quote unquote programming and stuff like that. So one day maybe I'll go back, but it's done for now. I think I've made like 30 loadouts or something like that, and they all have variations within themselves. We'll go ahead and kill ourselves. Now, typically when you kill yourself, you just go let some zombies slap you, right? Well, I turned off respawning on unconscious for 2 reasons. For one, I don't want to encourage people to just kill themselves randomly because, so for example, like let's just say you have a base in Berezino and you, like, someone's raiding you and it's like, okay, well, I got this one guy, I got 1 life, they got 1 life, so hey, maybe you kill them, maybe you defend your base and you kill them. I don't want them, I think it's stupid that it's like, oh, well, they can just kill themselves over and over and try to get back to Berezino as quick as possible. I want to disincentivize that. I want to disincentivize like the stupid gamey parts, you know, like it's like I want it to be like, hey, you lost, okay, you lost, like you're done. Obviously there's only so much I can do with that, but I made it to where you can't just quickly kill yourself. Now obviously you can still kill yourself, like since I'm this guy, well, I mean I found a gun so I can do that, but like since I spawned in as this guy, you know, I would just light the rag on fire and burn myself to death. But yeah, so there's still ways to do it, but I just think it's dumb. It's like, this is supposed to be a realistic game. It's still a game, obviously, but I don't want people just going around killing themselves. I think it's stupid. Oh, okay, that's really crazy luck. So we got another mechanic. That's actually a super rare chance. But you can see that the blowtorch has a smaller tank instead of the bigger one. Obviously the clothes are different and whatnot. I've also made the spawns. I turned off the dumbass group spawn system that they added however long ago. The server should operate within the old system where you just spawn in anywhere randomly. Yep, see, we're spawning all over the map. Okay, so this is a civilian. So this is one of the civilian loadouts. Actually, I need to change that because I added the bunker. I made these loadouts like before I did a lot of other stuff. So this is like, it's supposed to be all role playing. Like a pen is an unreleased item. Sadly, it doesn't have any like use, but I wanted to, you know, when I made these loadouts, I made them like realistic. It's like, okay, who is this guy? Okay, well, you know, maybe he was on his way to work or something, and this guy carries. Maybe he's like a Secret Service, or maybe he's like, you know, something like that, or just whatever the case may be. It's supposed to, I made these with the intention of like role playing. But yeah, so you can spawn in with anything. You can see like this guy spawned in with a gun, but it's an IJ with 6 bullets. Like nobody cares. Like the bullets could be all random. They're random amounts. The IJ could spawn with a bullet in the chamber. You know, the clothes would be different. It just everything. So yeah, this is, I believe, the biker loadout, or like, you know, bicyclist or whatever, because I got the helmet. Like most of the variants, like in the files, it doesn't really matter what's in the files. It just determines what their loot is, and like this one spawned in with a helmet, and then that would determine some of the different articles of clothing and combinations and stuff. But it's all random. But you know, it's supposed to be like, hey, this is like a real person. Like maybe when the infection happened, you know, they were riding or something and they ended up here, and it's just supposed to be about role play. This isn't a role play server. It's just supposed to be a little cool detail, you know, that kind of thing when you start your life. I guess I could continue here. I don't like playing as girls, but whatever. I've actually updated this town, actually quite a lot of this town. All the islands that are around here, for the most part, they all have additions to them. So like I said before, my goal is to update every single town. I want to like make the entire map expanded. So like you can see, I added this. One of my issues with a lot of these community servers is they're just not good. Like I've played a lot of them at this point, and they're just not detailed. Like they just throw assets all over the place, and I've seen very few that try to make the expansions or whatever they're trying to do look good. Like usually they just throw stuff like all over the place, and like, you know, maybe they'll put a house over there and it's like clipping into the tree and there's like a bush sticking through the floor, and you're like, bro, it's not a big deal. But it is, you know, like the game is supposed to be realistic. It's supposed to be immersive. So when I customize the server, everything is immersive. Like everything is highly detailed. Like I spend a lot of time doing these updates, and I try to make them look like they're a part of the original world. Like I want you to see something and be like, oh yeah, that's always been there, and it's actually something completely new. And now that since I'm fighting a zombie, you'll see that my heavy attacks aren't doing as much like stamina. They're not taking as much stamina. So something else that drives me crazy is these freaking baby mode servers where you have infinite stamina. Like why? I played on an official, like a vanilla plus official plus wannabe server, and they literally had unlimited stamina, and I'm like, what's the point of that? Like, the idea is that you can do trade-offs when you play. It's like, hey, I want to have a lot of defense, so I'm going to wear a plate carrier and a helmet and have a bunch of bullets and blah, 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 but I don't have any stamina. And whereas it's like, okay, hey, I want to be lighter. I'm going to wear a ghillie suit, no plate carrier, you know, lighter clothing so I can run around and reposition faster and stuff like that. It's like that just throws away like half the game. It just makes it easy and stupid. I made the stamina quote unquote realistic. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to reward people for not playing slow, but just being mindful of what they're doing. So the way the stamina works is that you do actually have more stamina. It's not infinite, but the idea was that it's like, hey, if you're jogging or walking to wherever you want to be, and then, oh crap, there's a gunfight, you will have a lot of stamina to actually maneuver with, but I'm not going to run the whole stamina. But then look at how slow the stamina regenerates. It's supposed to be realistic where it's like, okay, I mean, these freaking DayZ characters are built like tanks, you know, the stuff they can live through is insane. But the idea is like, hey, like, I don't know if you've ever, you know, gone outside and touched grass and like ran, but it's like when you're done running, usually it's like, oh crap, I need to catch my breath. Okay, I caught my breath, now I can start running again. It's just stupid in video gaming where it's like, you can just keep running over and over and you regenerate for like 2 seconds and you keep running in and you regenerate. I just think that's dumb. So I want to punish people that are just reckless. That's the idea. I want people to actually have to think about what they're doing. I was kind of hesitant because you can actually change how much stamina is used when you heavy attack. And at first I kept it the same. Like I made it more or less the same to how it is on official. You could probably get like what 5 or 6 swings at full stamina, because that's another problem with unlimited stamina is that you can just spam heavy attacks and just stun lock people. So like you could be fully geared, but some dude just starts wailing on you, and I'm like, okay, that's fucking stupid. Like that, there's no reason that should be part of the game. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, I think, and I might need to touch up on this and make it cost more stamina, but I'm pretty sure as long as you have a helmet because helmets block how much shock damage you get inflicted. I'm pretty sure, even with full stamina, if I used all my punches, I think it won't knock you out. Because you can live a lot of abuse when you have a helmet. So what was that, like 10 swings, 12 swings? I might need to cut that back if I'm being honest. It's still kind of a work in progress. That was actually one of the more recent things I did. But look, now I'm panting. It's like, oh crap, I'm out of breath. So, but that's kind of the trade-off. I want a freshie to at least have a chance against a fully geared person. Now, I don't want freshies to just get free loot because they can just stun lock a fully geared guy. That's dumb. Because like I want to reward people that actually find loot. But you can see it's like, okay, maybe I make a fast assault on a gear guy and I got nothing to lose, but oh crap, I just lost all my stamina and now I can barely run away, and maybe then you're dead. So I just wanted to make it realistic while also being good for gameplay. And also I want to make zombies a threat. That's the other big thing with this server. Currently right now as I'm making this, the zombies are roughly two times there's roughly 2 times more zombies on the map. Now I would increase it a bit more. I might do 3 times or 4 times because I want the infected to represent like the actual like world, you know what I mean? Like for example, if let's just say there's 100 beds in a town, well, okay, that would mean roughly 100 people are living in that town, correct? So I want there to be 100 infected. And you might say like, bro, like what the hell? I want players to die from more than just being shot by other players, because that's all official is at the end of the day. It's just PvP focused. Once you get to a certain skill level, the only thing you're worried about is other players. And that's by design. That's how the devs kind of want it. They want the zombies to be like distractions or obstacles within the PvP to make it like more interesting. And that's completely fine. I personally I think it's way more, like I've been in a gunfight a couple times on this server when people are actually playing on it. It's so much more to think about. It's like, okay, on official, it's like if I take this shot at this guy, it's like, yeah, I might have to deal with like 1 or 2 zombies that like hear the gunshot. But on this server, it's like, oh fuck, if I held my breath for too long and I don't have enough stamina to run away, and I take this shot and then I got a horde of zombies on me, it's like, oh fuck, like I might actually die to the zombies instead of the player. Like I might get punished for making a reckless shot or something. It's for 2 things. It's supposed to deter geared people. The idea is that it's supposed to deter geared people from shooting freshies, first of all, because I think that's stupid. I don't want to take away that ability because there's no way I can, but I want to deter it. So if you're a fully geared person and you're running around the coast just killing freshies all day because you're a loser, you're gonna get fucked up by zombies. You're gonna drain through your resources, and then you're not gonna have anything to kill freshies. And plus, again, I just think it's way more interesting. When I play official, I'm killing zombies because I want loot. I just go around and kill all the zombies, unless I'm like further inland, I'm trying to be stealthy. Because it's like, first of all, the zombies give you food and whatnot, and also they're just easy. Like if you get them one at a time, they're easy. There's a stealth attack. If you have a knife or something, you can stealth attack zombies. But you barely ever use it for 2 reasons. One, because it's typically quicker and more effective just to beat them up or knife them or whatever. And also because, I don't know, I forget how long it's been now. It's been like 6 months or so. They changed how the zombie AI is. And like you used to be, like on civilian zombies, you used to be able to just sprint, run up next to them as long as they weren't looking at you, and you could just do the animation and get the stealth kill on them. But now they like detect you even if they're not looking at you, and it's fucking stupid. So yeah, I added that. We'll go over to one of the little military camps over here. I want to give experienced players like me something to look forward to when they explore. Like I want them to find new stuff, and I just want to flesh out the world more. I feel like, I mean, obviously the reason the world isn't like fleshed out as much is twofold. It's usually just a hardware limitation, and whatnot, and just other gameplay reasons and stuff like that. But you can see, like, I added these crates, I won't point out everything I've added, but I've added some shipment containers because, like, I want to give people a reason to go to these spots. Like, you hardly ever, like, there's no reason to go to this pier, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to add those crates to bring you over here. But you can see, look at this. You see how many hits that zombie took, and now I'm out of breath. So it's like, if I go up against any more zombies or a player, like, I'm screwed. So you just have to be mindful with your zombie interactions. And also, I've changed everything in terms of loot. So like I was talking about the tier system and all that. You see how like for most of the zombies here, they're dropping like garbage. Like that one dropped paper, that other one dropped the cigarettes, which is an unreleased item that sadly doesn't do anything. I just added it for flavor. You can see that he dropped cigarettes. but it's supposed to just be realistic loot. It's like, unofficial, it's like you'll kill a zombie and he's just got a whole can of beans in his pocket. It's like, bro, like, what are you doing with these beans? Like, you can find good stuff on zombies. I made the zombies drop loot based on what zombie it is. So, like, you know, civilian zombies will maybe drop civilian loot, like civilian ammo, like 380 and 22 and stuff. Like, but it's not like they're dropping full boxes. Like, they're dropping, you know, anywhere from a full stack of ammo to one bullet to no bullet. You know what I mean? So it could be any amount. Maybe they drop an IJ because they're a person that carries. Maybe they drop, you know, a candy bar because they were just at the store or something like that, like the Zagorki or whatever. You know, you can see, like, for instance, that green sweater doesn't spawn on the coast on other servers. I think it only spawns in like 3 and 4 tiers or something. And then you see the sharpening stone that I picked up. You see how it's already used? That's not because someone dropped that there. That's because it spawned in that way. So, you know, I've detailed every single aspect of this server. And I know it kind of sucks that we're playing at night here. I'll probably edit it to be brighter. I'll have this going on, but I'm an extreme, like, autistic detail type person. So, like, when I detail stuff, like, I go all in. And so we're gonna go over to these islands because I made this cool little, like, I was like, okay, well, if this is an outbreak, right, the army would probably be interested in seeing what happens on the coast to see if, like, ships or, you know, whatever is going on. So I was like, okay, it would kind of make sense that they would make a little, like, checkpoint or a little guard station over here. We're over here now. We're freezing to death. Ah, okay, so this is the one I put the houses on. So, you know, this is supposed to be like, okay, this is a house that was over here, but, you know, it's close to the water, and somebody stopped living there, so it kind of got all run down and whatnot. And then over here, this might be somebody that's, like, actually still living over here, or was. But you see, like, I added this. I made sure I make sure all these things aren't, like, clipping through houses or, like, clipping through the ground. Even the DayZ Desert, guilty of that. There's a lot of, like, stuff that's already placed in the game that's, like, clipping through the ground, and it drives me insane. Oh, and that's the other thing, too. You hear a zombie over here. All these extra areas that I've added, I have also put zombies. I don't know why he's in the couch, but like I said, I've detailed everything. So yeah, you can see that there's one zombie out here. So it makes sense, right? Like, he's the one that lives in this house. So maybe this is his house, or maybe he was just over here. Or maybe he lived with 2 people, like this guy. So I've added zombies to all these custom areas, so they're part of the world. And then you can see how these guys have custom loot. See how this guy, he's got the hunter backpack. So that's a chance. He's not always going to have one, but it's like all the loot is appropriate to who the zombie is. So this guy's got a hunter backpack. He might have a couple shots of 308. He might have, you know, a flare. He might have a lighter because he's a hunter, you know, or just something that makes sense. This guy's the hiker, so, you know, he's got the hunter backpack or the mountain backpack and the reflective vest because he's a hiker. I think that I'm pretty sure this next island is the one that has the military stuff on it. Yeah, you can see it there. All right, because I want to give people a reason to come out to these islands. Because, like, unless you're trying to bury a stash or something, or maybe place a tent and build a base, like, there's really no reason to come out here. But you can see I've added all the zombies. You know, the people that were a part of this. Sorry, I keep calling them zombies. They're infected. They're not zombies. So, like, at full stamina, the idea is that you'll be able to, like, really take care of yourself. Since there's 2 times zombies, I want to give you the tools to make it to where, as long as you're cautious and smart, you'll be fine. But you see, like, I was at low stamina when I initiated this fight, so it's like, oh, crap, I'm at a disadvantage here because I'm fighting 2 of them and I'm at low stamina, so now I can't heavy attack here. Okay, so you see this is another problem, right? I've been playing this whole time, and I don't have bandages. I don't have rags even. I don't even have a knife to get rags. So that's why this server is hardcore. So I'm bleeding out now, and I don't have a way to heal myself. And that's, again, to deter certain behavior and to make the game harder and more realistic. It's like the fact that you spawn in with a bandage makes the game ridiculously easy because it's like, okay, well, now I have every tool I could possibly need to take care of myself. Like, when you kill other players, you get bandages too. So it's like, you're never not going to have something to heal yourself when you get cut. And so you never use mechanics like disinfecting. Like, no one carries around rags and disinfects them with disinfectant spray or alcohol. No one does that because you always have a ton of bandages on you. Oh, yeah, you see, he dropped 1 bullet. The idea was to, so kind of a side note, the idea was to make bullets just rarer overall. I don't want people to be fully geared freaking, you know, just having everything and not having to worry about ammo on the end game and just spray everybody they see. I want you to actually have to think about your engagements even when you're fully geared. And also, the idea was to make bases stronger, because bases are dog shit on official, because it's so easy to raid them. So explosives overall are harder to get, since you're not going to have a ton of bullets to waste on walls or to use on walls. Raiding will be harder. So people just kill freshies like all the time, right? Because it's like you spawn in, you know they got a set of bandages, and typically I like to carry 2 full rolls of bandages on official. Well, so I might just kill a freshie to steal his, you know? I want to deter that behavior, because now there's not necessarily an incentive for you to kill somebody other than just wanting to kill somebody. So it's like, oh, well, now that I don't know what you spawned in with, because there's all these different loadouts with different loot, it's like, okay, well, I won't kill that guy because I would... Maybe I spawned him with 2 rags that were disinfected. Well, it's like I don't want to waste those rags trying to fight this guy for no reason, because maybe he doesn't even have any bandages or something I want. So it'll deter that behavior, and you won't get very far. It looks like we're the jogger. These people sure look ridiculous, don't they? I kind of want to wait and wait until it's daytime, actually. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to pause this and then come back when it's daytime. All right, so I went ahead and killed myself so we can get a different spawn now that it's daytime. Well, okay, see, this is a pretty good loadout since you start out with alcohol. Alright, let's go ahead. Perfect. This is exactly where I wanted to be. So, yeah, I spawned in as this is supposed to be like a softball player. There's a male equivalent. It's more or less the same thing, except, you know, the genitals. I kind of got carried away here. I, like, detailed the fuck out of this area. Like, I just really got into it one night and just spent, like, I literally spent, like, 8 hours fucking detailing this one spot for some reason. As you can see, I've added a lot more crates here. So, yeah, I know I updated this area. You can see there's a lot more crates to loot. You know, these military crates were already here, so I added, you know, I don't try to add military stuff if there wasn't already military stuff there, you know what I'm saying? But as you can see, like, the loot's, like, nothing to write home about, so you don't need to worry about it being, like, overpowered. It's just supposed to give freshies a chance to get something that might help them out against a geared player. I don't do this all the time. I like to make it to where, like, things are climbable. I just like options for gameplay. And like I said, I don't always do this. Like, usually I just make things try to look realistic. Like, I don't care about the game first. That's secondary. Like, people like to build bases in this warehouse. So when I was putting these crates down, I'd be like, hey, like, they actually kind of lined up naturally. That, like, hey, if someone's in there, you know, and they have a base, it's like, hey, you can climb on these crates and you can, like, have cover and, like, shoot them, you know, inside the building. You know, you can, like, come over here and you got cover on this side too, you know, so you could peek them. And I just thought that was kind of neat. But yeah, you can see, like, I put all these, like, decorations all over the place. Like, I'm really happy with what I did here, actually. You know, I added this train over here. Oh, cool. I added that. Yeah, I made these dirt bike helmets, like, way more common. Or not common, but, like, I made them... When I changed what items, like when I was talking about the AK-101 and like the attachments, that applies to everything. So like these dirt bike helmets, I made all the different variations have all the, you know, attachments. I actually think I made that more likely because, like, bro, who's worried about dirt bike helmet attachments? Except for the new update that's coming out, you know, with dirt bikes coming out, maybe people care, but, you know, whatever. But yeah, I had this little train, you know, nothing crazy. Shit, doesn't even look like there's any loot in here. That sucks. There's only one car, but yeah, I just added it because I thought the structure was cool and, like, there's not much of a reason to come over here. Since I made the zombies not spawn in with food, like, they're not reliable food sources. Like, you're gonna have to rely on hunting, fishing. Like, there's really no reason to fish on Chinaris. Hunting's valuable because it's just an easy way to get food. But, you know, fishing will be more important now. I did increase the food amounts that spawn. I think I might actually need to decrease them. If the economy was actually being, like, used by a full server, it would probably play out differently. So I think the amount that I have is fine right now. But when I've tested on it, I just seem to find food pretty frequently. And I don't want that to necessarily be the case. I want you to have to use the environment to survive more than anything. So yeah, you can see that the zombies, look at that. I finally got some bandages, but guess what? They're not even disinfected because they're damaged, and I don't have alcohol. So, like, just because you found bandages that are damaged and not disinfected, that doesn't mean they're useless, though. Bandages are still faster than rags, but now you'll need to find disinfectant to have a faster you know, bandages. So that's like the benefit. That's not to say you won't find bandages that aren't disinfected. They just become disinfected when they get to the damaged state. So, you know, just more to think about, more interesting scenarios. So I made NBC suits way harder to get because I want that late game loot. I want it to be rare. I want that M4 to be rare. So it's like if you hear one, it's like, holy shit, someone's got an M4. It's because, like, again, like I said, unofficial, it's like, bro, everybody's got an M4. So I want it to be a big deal. I want that to incentivize people to build bases, and I want that to be something to look forward to as a group or something. But, you know, I added all this stuff back here, made it look more filled out. I added that. Again, another vantage point to this building. You can look through the windows and get up here and look in here and have an advantage a little bit if you're attacking. I just hate camping. Like, I know DayZ is not Call of Duty, where, you know, camping, quote unquote, is like kind of expected in DayZ because it's a tactical shooter or whatever you want to call it. But I wanted there to just be more options to problems instead of just waiting, basically. So, you know, I filled out this warehouse, made it look really detailed and stuff. There's a few things upstairs. I don't want to like over clutter things and make it look stupid, but, you know, I want to make it look like it was lived in and worked in. So I thought I did a pretty good job. But the main course is the actual warehouse. I just got really, like I said, I got really carried away. I added this truck to the loading dock, you know, all the stuff around it and whatnot. And then I just started going crazy in the warehouse. So again, tried to make it all make sense. I moved a couple of these things around because there were some mistakes, but, you know, just added some decorations all over the place. Some of these crates, like I said, they can spawn items, but it looks like they're not currently. Just luck, you know. You know, made sure the doors open and they don't clip into the tires or anything, you know. Got the, like, break room or whatever you want to call it. Just, you know, whatever going on in here. Got these, like, this is like the conference room or something. Just got all that. Oh yeah, this is one of the unreleased items. I don't know why these aren't in the base game, honestly. But yeah, there's like, I think 3 or 4 different colored bandanas that are in the game now. But, you know, I added the little, it's like a conference room, you know, kind of thing. I think I might actually kind of move that over a little bit so there's more room right there. I don't think I changed that. Got like a storage room, something. I was trying to think of like what this warehouse made or whatever, and I was like, well, I got all the saws and stuff down there, so maybe they make like pipes, and because they had the pipes and the planks out there, so it's like maybe they make like, you know, metal parts or like wood fixtures or something. I don't know, but, you know, just filled out the room, decorated it, yada yada, and then got the like office, whatever. I kind of want to do a little bit more to this room. I think I kind of got lazy. This is like one of the last parts I did. But, you know, you got all the offices here and whatnot. Then the boss's room or whatever. So I thought this room looked really cool. I really like how it turned out. And then again, I kind of got lazy. Like, I didn't do much with up here. I'd probably just add like some like construction looking stuff or, you know, something like that. Honestly, I just put these boxes here. I didn't really know what to put in here because it's slanted. That's kind of weird that this room is slanted like that. So I just put some boxes. I'll probably do something else. Probably do something else up here too. But, you know, like I said, every building can't be that detailed because that would take forever. But, you know, I just knew that this was a popular base location, so I thought it'd be cool, you know, for someone that builds a base here often to see something different. But yeah, no, this is the kind of stuff I want people to expect with the server, like high quality, detailed, that kind of thing. So, you know, that's what I do with this area. Kind of cool. But I added this really cool, like, custom area down here. We're close to the big expansion I've done over here. I'll give you a teaser. I won't go into it, but I'll tease you and I'll show you part of it. And look, see, the civilian pants spawn with the civilian gun, you know? So I added a military town like Zelenogorsk at Novi Lug. south is Severgrad, and it's fucking awesome. However, I'm very disappointed because it doesn't perform well, and I think I might have to make some drastic changes to it because it actually like doesn't render in properly because there's so much stuff there, and that's just a limitation with the engine. And also because I think maybe when they release the performance update this year, hopefully maybe it'll get fixed, but I'm not sure. So I'll show you this part, and I don't want to go to the big expansion on this side, but over here, because Felicity Island's over there, and then over there is a big expansion. Very, like, again, one of the things I'm really proud of. If you like Call of Duty, like if you're a Call of Duty fan, you'll appreciate it. I love Call of Duty 4 in particular, Modern Warfare, the original. So if you like Call of Duty, you'll appreciate what's over there. That's all I'm going to say about that. And if it wasn't foggy, I'd give you a sneak peek. But let's just say I've recreated one of the maps in Call of Duty 4. So this was already here. I just want to see what's in here. Oh, look, burlap sack. Oh, and even spawned in. Is that a mushroom? A dried mushroom? Oh, it is. So I made the bag. Depending on what the bag is, depends on what's in the bag. And this bag, since it's more of like a survival bag, it has a mushroom in it. And if mushrooms stay out for long enough, they dry. So it's kind of a neat little thing. So yeah, this is another little area I've added. So this is where those like two cabins are. People like to build bases over here too. So I just wanted to be creative and kind of expand this little area a little bit more to kind of add on to the fact that I added that big expansion over there. See, I just added this neat little area. Because I wanted to use all the Sakal buildings, like the cool Sakal buildings. Like this building's so cool. Actually, I stole this idea from another server I saw. This is actually like, it's kind of a simple idea, but I was like, wow, that's a great idea. They shrunk down the cars and made them like look like little toys, and I thought that was so fucking awesome. And yeah, if you keep going, it's like a little store. So these houses were already here, but then I added this one. We'll go over here just to show you. This is what I mean when I say I try to make the houses look like they're part of the world. Like, you can tell that the DayZ devs have like a formula when they build houses. It's like, for example, like every house usually has like a shed or an outhouse or like a trash can or wood, because they're like fireplaces and stuff. So I try to make them all seem like to fit that like formula. And, then I add my own like details, like you got a bonfire here and the dog house, which other houses have it. But I love how this turned out. I think it's really cozy back here. All right, spawning bear. Okay. Spawning Berezino, my favorite town, actually. And this is actually, fun fact, this is where I did my first map expansion. To like when I was learning how to use DayZ Editor and whatnot. Whoa, okay, that's one of the benefits of leaving the 15-second timer for spawning in, just to let the game like synchronize and whatever. And I'm not going to go over here, but you can see I added all that stuff over there, those buildings and like that crane over there and that boat, and there's an office down there. I added all that stuff. I would love to actually start the adventure here, but I don't want to veg, so I need to kill myself. All right, who we got? Okay, a male nurse. All right. Chainsaw! We are in Berezino, though. All right, cool. That was literally the next guy I got. So yeah, sadly the chainsaw doesn't do anything. It's just a cosmetic item. I mean, it's a melee weapon, I guess. But yeah, you're not going to want to use it, so just get that shit out of here. The main highway should be that direction-ish, like over here a little bit. Svet is over that way. And then this is that lake, I'm looking at the map. Grubieskali or something? Lake Grubieskali? I don't know. But, yeah, this is a really cool part of the map. Like, it's actually, like, really awesome looking, but there's literally no reason to come up here. Like, hardly ever. So I thought, hey, I'll just make it, like, a cool campsite. Hold up. So, I added these, cabins up here. It's supposed to be, like, a fishing type place, but yeah, no, it's just a, hunting area. Got a flare. Yeah, the flares actually have, their flare guns actually have flares in them. That's something that doesn't happen. Not that anybody gives a fuck about flares, but you know, at least people will shoot it because it's fun. There you go. Nice. So, you know, just decorated these cabins a little bit. Try to make it, again, I tried to make it more like fishing oriented. And then I added this, like, this guy actually like permanently lives here. I was trying to like role play it again. I was like, oh, maybe this guy is like the lake keeper. I don't know what you call it, like park ranger or something. Like he lives here. And like, I don't know, or maybe he like owns, maybe this is like a vacation property and he like rents those out, you know. But, like he lives here, that's his car and stuff like that. And I added like, you know, I added like a spooky detail. Oh, the hay hook, that's an unreleased item. This actually does function like a blade though. I think it's kind of neat that they modeled like his hand, like his hand's actually grabbing it. I find it very strange that they like modeled these items, but they're just not in the game. But I added this like corpse over here just for fun. I was like, he buried somebody in the backyard. But yeah, no, it's just a cool. I thought this would be a pretty neat place to build a base. But yeah, no, like look at how cool this area is. Like this is like one of the most awesome looking areas in the whole fucking map. And like again, there's just no reason to come out here. But yeah, I added this cool looking house over here. Again, I just built into the environment, made sure everything looks nice. Yeah, I put the fishing gear because again, this is like a fishing oriented place. You know, just try to make it look lived in. What the fuck? Bruh. Oh damn, I hit the jackpot. It's supposed to be like the kids' lunch, like lunchbox, you know. So yeah, I added that whole command center over there, and then all this over here. That's more or less what I did to it. I added that plane there, the crash plane, and there's, I think, yeah, there's one down there too. Yeah, I added this whole building over here. Yeah, I thought this turned out really good. Because, like, these bushes and stuff, that's what I was trying to say earlier, is that, like, I build into the environment that's already there. So I picked this location because it just fit perfectly, like, by default. And you see, I tried to make it look like, you know, used or whatever, like, old. You know, that panel's, like, sticking up out of the ground because it's, like, sunk into the earth. I, like, lined up the building with that bush that was already there and all the trees on the side and that little, like, rock wall on the right side of the building. But yeah, cool. So, you know, that's what's to be expected on my server. My server is basically the greatest, the most detailed server there possibly is. And it's going to get better and better as time goes on. So, play it.